Madam President, and and Senator Rosen, as is often the case with an omnibus bill, policy, or finance, there are a lot of good ideas and sometimes not so great ideas. And to be sure, there are some great ideas in here, and I think we worked very hard in committee on the multi-year rate making, and that's actually a really good idea, and I'm really happy about that. And some of the department technical issues that we're clearing up, stuff that seems innocuous but causes a lot of money and a lot of staff time and the like, and I thank you for including those items as well. But there are a couple of ideas that aren't so great, and I'm fairly concerned about. One of them, of course, and we talked about this in committee to some extent, and that's bringing the co-ops down to the 1% goal for the Conservation Improvement Program. And I understand the co-ops' concerns and the like, but we really haven't gotten rolling yet on these conservation improvement programs across the state under the new 1.5% goal. And I'll add that this is a goal, not a mandate. And what the effect of this is of course, is taking out of the hands of the residential customer base in particular, but even the commercial customer base, resources and tools, and really making them second-class and substandard citizens with respect to the ability to access those things that they could make use of, whether that's rebates or technical help, efforts to gain control of their energy bills at their place of use, at their homes and at their businesses, retrofitting their homes, retrofitting their businesses, doing all kinds of things, as well as the sorts of improvements perhaps that we could make on the other side of the meter. And so I don't know why we would kind of essentially predetermine before we've even gotten down the path. I know that folks are anxious and they're wringing their hands, but without much effort in the past, folks were getting 0.7, 0.8% returns without any effort, a little applied effort, and I think we'll see that the 1.5 or something close to it would be very achievable. And the existing conservation improvement plan that we passed a couple of years ago allows for consideration of good effort, and if economics or customer class or other circumstances show that that's unattainable, there's a way of submitting those plans and getting those thresholds moved down. Likewise with the pilot program on the inverted block rates for gas customers, it's just in the pilot phase right now. And to simply preordain and prejudge and prohibit even before we conclude the pilot and figure out exactly the level of acceptance and exactly the results, we're simply taking that away. Sure, it's created some concern because it's something new, but the converse, of course, is we have the reverse incentive, and folks can, and we take away that economic signal, that economic incentive for conservation in the gas arena, and we know that conservation for gas is very different than conservation for electricity, and there's so many fewer opportunities just in the kind of the physical plant, our homes, et cetera, because gas is used in such fewer applications. And so it's more difficult. So providing economic incentives, really unleashing the creativity of the market to allow for conservation in the gas arena, I think is a good thing. But Senator Rosen, I'm particularly concerned about the Senator Benson provision that really does put the thumb on the scale of the large industrial customers in this state in the determination by the legislature that cost of service shall be the primary consideration for revenue allocation among consumer classes. And this simply has the effect of reducing the energy bills for our large customer classes, and it's going to drive up our bills for our small businesses and for our residents. The legislature often gives the PUC direction and broad outlines, but never with this level of specificity, particularly in rate making. There are so many factors that we ask the Public Utilities Commission to take a look at when they're looking at rate cases. So many factors of cost and cost drivers and considerations of infrastructure and depreciation, et cetera, environmental factors, social factors, et cetera, also need to be sifted through. And what this does is it simply takes that authority and that ability out of the Public Utilities Commission's hands. And I know you said they sent you a letter, but you know, I don't think that really bears on our policy decision here today. I don't know why they sent that letter. You know, there perhaps some extenuating circumstances around the provision of that letter, but I'm telling you here today, this is a mistake. This is a path that we don't want to go down. If for no other reason, then we're going to be putting our thumb on the scale on behalf of the large industrial class customers, and we're going to be driving up expenses for residential and small businesses. And I don't know why we would do that. I do know that about a year ago, one particular utility who has a large amount of their energy that they generate is used by their large industrial class customers, and they got a fairly significant rate increase, but they weren't happy with how much they got, and they filed another case immediately after that. And the Public Utility Commission didn't find nearly as favorably in the second round. I mean, it was within minutes they filed their second rate utility case, and so they're cranky. And so they are seeking an advantage in policy here in the legislature to kind of preordain a future outcome of future rate cases that they're going to make. I don't know why we would do this on behalf of them. Time and time again, when these challenges have been brought on these rate cases to the courts, arguing that cost of service wasn't factored in sufficiently, the courts have found absolutely cost of service has been the primary consideration, but the Public Utility Commission has myriad of factors to balance and lots of concerns and lots of technical issues. We know that those rate cases are stacks high, full of documents, a lot of information, a lot of facts to sift through, a lot of facts on the ground, a lot of facts in the law, and they have to bring all of those factors into consideration. So I don't know why we would reach in, cherry pick this one particular facet, and try to advantage one particular class of customers over another. And I think if we do this, we'll regret it, because it's going to show up in the customer bills, it's going to be fairly significant, and we're going to hear from our residents.